Hi, a very good morning to all of you. So, as I promised, today's lesson we will look at cover letter. And speaking of cover letter, all right, I have prepared a lecture note that focuses on how to write cover letter. All right, so the soft copy of this PowerPoint will be uploaded together with this lecture, but this is just for you to view and understand on how do we go about, preparing a cover letter. So as if you remember, all right, I did mention that when we speak about cover letter, once you have prepared your resume, like what most of you have done at the moment, right? So once you've actually prepared a cover letter, a resume, you will need to prepare a cover letter. A cover letter is supposed to be like a pitch. That means you're expressing your thought of interest to apply for the position that you are keen and probably match the job description. Okay, so at this point of time, all right, maybe for some of you, you are probably thinking, it is going to be quite, an easy journey, or it's going to be a breeze when you are going to go for employment later. But then for some of them, all right, who are probably working, all right, you would know that, it's going to be a challenge out there, especially, just to get yourself, to be called in for interview and so on. And you might be thinking, what is the hiring manager trying to look for? I have all the qualification, so why am I not called in for interview, or why am I not even hired? So that is why preparation of our resume is crucial. We have to look into what are the information we are putting into our cover letter, our resume, and then how do we actually write the cover letter? That means what type of language are we using? All right, are we using the correct format? Did we include enough of information for the HR to contact us? So when we talk about cover letter, it's actually a pitch about yourself and why you are actually fit for the position. All right, that means what can you actually offer for the company and how you will actually be one of the best candidates for the current job that they have actually posted. All right, and of course you have to ensure that you are telling the HR manager why are you applying for the position. So this is where you talk about what you can offer, and then how you're actually looking forward, all right, to apply whatever knowledge you have learned. So you have to be enthusiastic when you actually write about your reasons. All right, and in our cover letter we will also talk about our skills. All right, so skills are related to the position you are applying. Okay, and then the experience, okay, you can even include about your internship, all right, or if you were actually employed previously, you can also talk about it and how this experience is valuable, all right, and it will actually be an added advantage for the company who's going to hire you. And then achievements, so as I said, you only include achievements that is important, that's more like a wow factor. You don't have to include everything, because that is what your resume is going to do, right? Okay, so remember, when we talk about cover letter, there are a couple of things that we have to remember. Okay, so one of it is that we want to make sure that we are including specific summary of our profile, all right, which emphasize on the skills and experience which is relevant to the job. So that's the first thing. And you have to make sure that you are keeping it short. You are not using long and windy sentence, because HR department will actually go through cover letters very quickly, all right, and then the more detail or the attention they would pay is actually on your resume. And remember not to repeat what's already in your resume. Okay, you just talk about how these points that you highlight in your resume will actually will actually benefit you for the position. That means you only talk about important points that's actually relevant to the job. Okay, and then the fourth idea is that, remember when I mentioned to you during our class last week that you can prepare a resume and you can use the same resume to apply for 10 to 20 jobs. But things are different for cover letter. You have to actually customize for each job application because, there are so many information that you need to make amendments to, like your personal information, the name of the company, and then the positions and so on, right? And then last, don't forget to proofread your cover letter. So make sure that the names and the details are correct. So the best thing is, of course, get someone to read it for you, just to be extra safe. Okay, so I've attached here a sample, so you can see here there are a few things that I've actually taken note of, all right? Especially, I'm sorry, hold on. Okay, so especially when we are looking at the subject. So subject is important because you most likely you're going to email the cover letter, right? So keep it short and make sure that you are putting in the right title for the subject. For example, application for the position of English language teacher. Okay, and then you put at what's the name of the company. So that's usually the subject. And don't forget the salutation. So if you know the name of the HR manager, you can use that. If you don't, just put dear hiring manager or dear Mr. or Mrs. Okay, so whichever that is that is appropriate for the context. Okay, and then remember, you're supposed to have your reasons as well, right? So why are you applying for the job? For example, I believe that my degree in BA majoring in marketing, all right, from this university has prepared me for the position. So as a student, I was equipped with necessary knowledge and skills to help develop an effective marketing strategy. So why are you applying for the job? So what can you actually offer and what kind of person you are? You provide a little bit of experience. Okay, so speaking of experience, so this is where in the following body paragraph you will actually include more information in relation to the position you're applying. So you talk about your skills, your experience, and your achievement. Okay, and then finally, remember, you must have a closure. So the closure is the closing paragraph where you talk about how you're actually including your resume and how you're actually looking forward to be called in for interview. And for some who are probably experienced, so this is where they will actually talk about the expected salary as well. Okay, so speaking of personal information, remember, in our cover letter, we are supposed to include personal information, and personal information is something that most of the time candidates overlook, thinking that it's already in resume. Why do I need to include again in cover letter? Again, as I said, sometimes people, HR teams, right? They don't really read in detail. So for that reason, always include the date that you're applying for the position, your name, your address, as include your email address and your contact number as well. Okay, everything that is important for them to reach you out when they want to arrange for an interview session. Okay, all right, so next is the part, how do we actually go about writing our letter, right? The content. We can find lots of templates out there, but then when you actually scrutinize and look at the template, all right, sometimes the words may not express what you really want to. So for that, one of the important things in your introduction paragraph is that you need to have your career goals. All right, so what is your career goal? What is your aim? You're looking forward to be a specialist, all right, or a senior level executive. Okay, and then how you're actually working towards it and how you've actually gained the experience throughout the journey as well. And you will also include your expertise, like what are you good at and where you actually found the job at. Is it through JobStreet, or is it through LinkedIn, or is it through newspapers? And of course, the aim of you applying for the position, that means the purpose. So one example is that, so I was excited to see a job listing for the senior digital marketing position at the Westward Strategies on Indeed.com, where you got it, right? So as a dynamic email marketing specialist with over 2 years of professional experience executing market research, analyzing consumer data, and running A and B tests to drive successful marketing campaigns, I'm confident that I would be a valuable asset to the team at Westward. So remember, you are pitching your idea, right? So you also talk about why you're actually applying for the position. And body paragraphs. So this is supposed to be like a response to the job description written in the job ad. Remember when I say about roles and responsibility, usually in some job ad you will actually find these HR companies posting specific details of what they're actually looking for in a candidate. So you try to look into that and respond to that. Will you be able to do it, or are you good at it, or there are certain things that you are unsure but you're willing to learn. Okay, and then include your previous employment, your experience, skills, and abilities that will actually fit well for the position you are applying for. So don't forget that. So in this body paragraph, some of candidates will actually go to extra mile by having list of bulleted items on their achievement, like probably they are an award winner of something, or they have actually certification of something. So you can actually do that if it's not really mentioned in your resume, or if you feel that this is something you should actually include in your cover letter, because not many of them have it. And then closing paragraph. So this is where you actually persuade your HR that you would love to be called in for interview. So remember to include your personal information. For example, I can be reached via email or via contact number at where. All right, and finally, make sure you have to thank them as well, because they read your cover letter, and most likely they're gonna call in for interview. All right, so later on you can actually access this YouTube link just to rehash what I actually shared with you today, and then there's also a template for you where you can actually start drafting your cover letter. All right, so that's it for our lesson for today. All right, so thank you so much. So have a great weekend ahead.